Influence here with Chase McMichael from InfiniGraph. Chase, social media, how we find out who our influencers are, how we find out what they're interested in. How is InfiniGraph answering those questions, and what challenges are you seeing brands having, and how are you getting to the root of that?
Brands' biggest challenge right now is finding relevance. Usually they're having some type of social presence, either Facebook or Twitter, putting a lot of content in, not getting a lot of action. You do the math on those feeds, it's sub 1% or even worse. So they not only want to get more engagement, but they also want to scale that engagement. So if something starts to trend, content does well, majority of brands don't know what to do with it. So what we're helping them with is telling them what to do, when to do it, and how to do it.
And you, from what I gather, you look at the current friends on Facebook, their current social graph, and the social graph of their competitors, as well as other brands which that social graph connect with, and then you help find out which content is going to connect best with their brands, and you put that into their feeds. Is that right?
Absolutely. We even created a term called hyper-curation. And that's the ability for a brand to look not only at their competitors, but other relevant information their audiences they're saying they're into. And by looking at what content people are sharing and interacting with, that's the best measurement for behavior and intent. So instead of what people are, from a keyword base, like, if I asked you how many keywords are relevant to your industry, you may think of 5 or 10. We're able to come up with thousands based upon what consumers are interacting from a content perspective. So that's a big game changer.
Who's doing it well, and how are they doing it?
Well, I think the social listening companies are doing it really well from a keyword monitoring. But the huge pain point that brands are having is that when you put in too many keywords, you're having to create too complex query structures. And you're trying to drink from like a tsunami. And we said there was a real problem in that industry. When we talked to brands, they were saying we really wanted to make this content, this information actionable, not just creating reports. So we knew there was a big opportunity, a big problem to solve. And the other big opportunity, or the cool thing that happened in the last 2 years, every single piece of content on the planet was getting those social share functions. So like embedding the retweet, the like, and now with Google Plus, and then LinkedIn came on. So those factors allowed for us not only to measure relevancy, but if you look at an industry by clustering together, like say all automotive, all apparel, all cosmetic, now you can have the pulse of the industry of what's trending as part of that content consumption.
Where's this going to be in 6 months' time? Where's this going to be in a year, 2 years? Where's the future trend for this?
So we're working on a machine learning algorithm. We have a pretty basic capability of that, but we're creating what's called adaptive intelligence. And what that is that we can measure interaction at the content level to make you, the smartest person in the room, even further. And that is if you know that your content's getting certain interactions when it gets distributed to certain media points, then that's the way we can actually do dynamic programming intelligence. So if I know that a person's clicking on these ads, the content's in the ads, which one am I going to show first when I distribute it? So being able to do that dynamically improves your whole CTR lift.
And is this all happening automatically? And are brands seeing consumer pushback for this automated feed?
So we do an automated, but there is we curate it.
Right.
So it comes back, so you can crowdsource, that's called hyper curation, bring in all this content. Let's say you have many media properties, you want to crowdsource all the interactions happening across a very large set of media properties, and then pipe that out as a distribution. But people want to be able to see, well, I want to edit this, or I want to deselect certain things I don't want to put in the feed. In our platform, we allow you to do that.
Because obviously you wouldn't want to be promoting someone else's competitor's brand necessarily within your feed just because it's there.
Yeah, so there's the intelligence in what's called feed now, where it selects and pushes it out through our API.
Where are the limitations of this right now, and how are they being pushed back?
Well, we created a cloud-based platform. From a scalability perspective, it's not going to stop. We're very excited about what's happening with Google Plus, because it's expanding the social graph from a context perspective. Mm-hmm. So brand pages, anytime that there's a brand page out there, we have 4.5 million brand pages in our system today. Of those, about 350,000 are what we call core brands. That's just growing, and it's not stopping. The amount of, we're talking, millions of dollars is being spent and billions on obviously display media. A good chunk of that display media is being used to drive traffic back to Facebook.
Right.
So we are going to see where I believe that Twitter by far has an immense growth that's going to occur in 2012. Every single media property, television show, where the bulk of the advertising really still resides,
yep.
you know, let's just be honest with ourselves, that's where the money is. Twitter is got a grip on that. And I think we're going to see a huge uptick occurring very quickly. We're starting to see that Twitter skewing the Nielsen ratings. So with all of that occurring, you know, we believe we're in a really good position, because as the data bifurcates and becomes even larger, the need for that intelligence at the consumer level to be smarter and more adaptive is going to be even a bigger desire.
So you're seeing those brands then increasingly focus on incentivizing, hiring, nurturing those content creators, those influential individuals who understand about creating the right content for them.
Yeah, content marketing, we're seeing right now content marketing firms are just exploding. Right. And these are, you know, these are very organized blogger groups. A lot of times the blogger groups they'll have a display media that's integrated with the campaign, so they're creating authentic content. That authentic content is being bubbled to the surface and then being distributed in various forms. And so we're seeing that paid, earned, owned, and social start to meld. You know, it's like almost like a Venn diagram where the circles are starting to become more overlapped every day. So that whole content marketing aspect we're going to see in the next 2 years is just going to literally explode. And we know with YouTube and the video creation, that's a big business in itself. Yeah. Still, social seeding and seeding of content will never go away. But there's going to be, it's going to get just as hard, because as everyone gets on the bandwagon to create a lot more content, we're going to have a hell of a lot more content, right?
Right.
And we only have so many eyeballs looking at this content, and they only have so much bandwidth. So there is going to be a fight for eyeballs still at the when everything washes down to is how effective you are. And we're going to start seeing things go less viral, because there's so much happening that everything's going to hit social velocity. It's not going to hit velocity like we used to. I mean, some of the stuff that were in the past where we saw things go viral may never be reproduced, because there's just not enough. It's too much volume. Right. And that, I may be completely wrong, but I think if you look at some of the things that are happening now, it seems that there's an indication that that's correct.
Chase, thank you very much.
Pleasure.